nobody gonna do for you. Pull the trigger.
Maybe you should pull the fucking trigger.
Pull the trigger. Ain't nobody gonna do for you.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for tuning into this video. My name is Rush and I'm riding my SRT today. In today's video, we're gonna bring you the 5 things I don't like about this car. Let's get right into it. The first things first, the brakes. The brakes on this car are phenomenal. They're some of the best brakes I've ever had in a vehicle. They stop this thing like no other, and I've literally just instilled so much confidence in me when I'm driving because I know I'm able to stop should I need to. And in a car that goes fast, having the ability to stop even faster is a very good thing. And this car does that very well. Unfortunately though, although it stops really quickly, the brakes produce a lot of brake dust. So if you're a picky person like me that likes to keep their car clean at all times, this is going to be the #1 thing that gets on your nerves, because by the time you wash the car and you take it for a drive, maybe from the car wash to your house, and if you happen to speed up a little bit and slow down, you're going to get out of the car and you're going to wipe your finger on that freaking front rim and you're going to find a bunch of brake dust. Obviously, I've looked into some solutions for this, and I'm actually planning to make a video about how to solve this issue, and it's just replacing the pads. So that is the first thing I dislike about this car, and it's those brake pads that come from the factory. Yes, they bite very well and they stop the car, but they do produce a ton of brake dust that makes it very frustrating to keep the front rims clean. Now, jumping into the second thing that I dislike, and this one we're gonna have to jump to the back of the car, and it is the trunk. The trunk tailgate piece that has the Dodge lettering on it is, like a plastic finish that gets scratched up so easily. Like Dodge, I don't know what you guys were thinking of putting something shiny back there, because I've tried my hardest to make sure it doesn't scratch up, and mine already has scratches. And it's just very frustrating because it really ruins the look of the car. I wish it was more of a matte finish, or they could have used a different type of material that doesn't scratch up, because mine got scratched up very quickly, and anytime you wipe it, pretty much you're adding more scratches to it. So I've been trying to stay away from wiping it and cleaning it, but of course in efforts or in hopes of keeping my car looking good, I wipe it sometimes and I've got a few scratches in there. And also when you try to close a trunk, since there's no handle or anything, most times you're forced to put your hand on that part, and that part is also gonna cause a little bit of scratching from your hands pulling down on the trunk. Now moving on to number 3, and number 3 I would say is a little bit of kind of like nitpicking and a little bit of truthfulness behind it, but the stock tires that come on these cars are absolutely horrible. They're horrible in that they are just really bad for the amount of power you're making. They're too skinny. They don't really allow you to grasp onto the ground and hook, and that can be a pretty big issue when you're trying to race and you're getting around, driving around. Anytime that you floor the car, you're going to notice a noticeable amount of wheel spin. And I've even had a few like burnouts, like a mini burnouts that I've done at lights from just flooring it and the car going into like a little burnout on its own. So that would be number 3. The tires on the car absolutely are not good, so you're gonna have to want to change those out, and they don't even last that long. I'm at 4,000 miles. I'm already about 50% tread life on mine, so they run out pretty quick. So keep that in mind, guys. If you are getting a Challenger, just make sure you have a good budget for tires, because you're going to be going through a lot of tires. Now the 4th thing is something that obviously I knew getting into the Challenger and once I got it, but it is something that you have to get used to, and it is something that you're going to have to learn how to deal with, and it's, as you guessed it, those blind spots in the back. Now that blind spot is rather huge, and thankfully I have the blind spot monitors on my car, so those have been so helpful, especially after I tinted the car. They've been really helpful to me, making sure I stay safe on the road. But if you're not used to having big blind spots, then this car is gonna feel a little uncomfortable to drive, because the blind spots are rather big and they can actually hide like a whole truck in the blind spot area there, because that's just how wide they are. They actually curve too, which is kind of crazy. But nonetheless, you do get used to it, but it does, you know, it is a little bit of a learning curve compared to other cars where you can just turn your head and you see exactly what's going on. So, you know, make sure you're extra cautious with that. And I was really cautious for the first couple months of owning the car until I got the hang of it. And now I'm kind of comfortable at all times. I don't really ever feel uncomfortable. So that's number 4, guys. And just to wrap it up, heading into number 5. And this is something that I, you know, noticed on my car, but obviously the Challenger is a great car and there's a lot of good things about it. But I think one area that definitely I was not expecting is the build quality, and primarily the build quality having to do with the panels on the car. So I do a lot of cleaning myself, and I like to take care of my car on my own. So I've gotten, you know, really familiar with all the gaps and everything all around the car, and the car does have some issues where the gaps don't really line up or are not super, you know, centered compared to other portions of the car. So that is a quality control issue. That is something from Dodge. And now I understand that, you know, Dodge is not like a luxury car maker, but when you're talking about a car that has an MSRP of $53,000, I think they should have given it a little more thought. It's kind of frustrating when I look at my trunk and it appears like it's open when it's not. That is not something that I should be experiencing as a new car owner, and as a car that's never been through an accident or anything. I should not have those doubts at all. Because sometimes I'm walking behind my car and I really do look at the trunk and I think that it looks pretty open to me. It doesn't even look like it's closed. That's how much gap there is between the taillights. It is just not evenly matched up. So that's number 5. Obviously that's something that I can't change, but you know, I can hope that Dodge will take care of it. Given that it's not extremely bad in the front, it's just really in the rear of the car that I notice it most. On my trunk area where the lights are just not matching up when the trunk is closed, it gives me just a little frustrating, especially when you're taking pictures and you can see it in pictures. But nonetheless, that is pretty much my top 5 things that I hate about this car. Obviously, I didn't hate them enough to change my mind about the car, as I still have it and I'm still enjoying it and loving every minute of it. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure that you leave a like on it, guys, and please subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so when I post you get alerted of it. I'm going to be making a top 5 things that I love about the car, so that's coming right up to the channel, so make sure you stay tuned. I'll see you guys in the next one. Rush SRT signing out. Peace.